Good evening, Hofstra fans, and welcome to Sports Beat. I'm your host, Dylan Brett. We have an exciting show for you tonight. We begin on the hardwood with the electrifying action of March Madness, and next we swing it to the diamond for an update on the young season of Major League Baseball. Next, we are joined by Christine Dannenfelser of the women's lacrosse team for a live in-studio interview. Our attention then turns to the blue and gold, discussing what is roaring and boring in Hofstra athletics, followed by your Pride Weekly update, capped off by the Pride Top 5. Rounding out the show, we have an exclusive shooting contest with the men's soccer team, and to close things out, we will crown our Athlete of the Month. Don't go anywhere because Sports Beat starts right now. Folks, March Madness is back and has come as advertised. Here to break it down with me, Jackson and Jason Weick. So guys, I feel like we have to start on a high note. The NCAA tournament killing it in the ratings department. Highest rating since 1993, over 10 million viewers per game. So I want to know, what's the big reason for this explosion in popularity?
Well, Dylan, in my opinion, streaming has really changed the world of sports in so many different ways, making it more accessible than ever. I read an article earlier that said 88% of U.S. households have at least one streaming service. And now with March Madness in and of itself, you can watch on Hulu, YouTube TV, Sling TV. There's just so many more ways that you can watch.
I think streaming is playing a factor, but I think there's also another factor, and that would be sports betting. They said there's an estimated $3.1 billion that is going to be gambled on March Madness alone. Now look, people are going to stream the game, but I think the reason why they're streaming the game is because they have some skin on it.
So let's turn our attention now to the action on the court. Obviously, my favorite thing about college basketball, 364 teams, you can turn a program around like that. And we've had some big turnarounds in college hoops this year. So who do you guys think is the coach of the year in college basketball?
My apologies. My pick will definitely be the godfather himself, Rick Pitino, who's done something that nobody could ever imagine for basketball, making New York basketball relevant again. He's really transformed the St. John's basketball program in so many different ways, coming back from a 20-13 record last season to a phenomenal 31-5 program record. He's Big East regular season championship, Big East coach of the year. There's just so many things that you can say. And it's a wonderful year to be Rick Pitino.
Dylan, I'm going to have to give your guys at Michigan some credit. Give it to Dusty May. Last year, they go 8-24, one of the worst seasons in Michigan history. What happens? They bring in Dusty May. They go 27-10. They win the Big Ten tournament. On top of that, he had a limited transfer portal, limited pull in just year one. Now he's got a whole other year to bring some more guys into the program. And I think for those Wolverines, it's only up from here.
I think what both of those guys proved is that in this new era of the transfer portal, you can turn a program around in one day, getting 15 transfers over the course of an offseason like Dusty May and Rick Pitino did. So now let's talk about the tournament, everybody's favorite. And what hasn't been everybody's favorite is the lack of Cinderellas in the dance this year. The slipper hasn't quite fit in the 2025 tournament. So outside of the usual mid-major Cinderella, who has been the biggest surprise of March Madness so far?
My biggest surprise would have to be John Calipari and the Arkansas Razorbacks and the way they've been able to perform this year as a 10 seed coming into the tournament. They were able to handle number 7 Kansas. They were able to stun the red-hot St. John's Red Storm, ranked at number 2. And they did fall short in the tournament in the Sweet 16, but they pushed a tough 3-seed Texas Tech team to an overtime heartbreaking game for the boys. But it was a wonderful season to be able to watch Arkansas play.
As we talked about, not a lot of flashy Cinderellas, but I'm going to have to go with BYU. I wasn't quite sure they'd win their first game. They win a gritty one versus VCU. Then they're able to beat number 3 Wisconsin, and they lost to an Alabama team in the Sweet 16 that shot record-breaking numbers with 3-pointers. So look, maybe that doesn't happen and they make it to the Elite 8, but I think for BYU, big step for the program. And maybe they're not as much a football school anymore, but now they're starting to become a basketball school.
You know, guys, I'm ashamed to say it. I've been on the record saying VCU is a fantastic Cinderella pick, and I had them beating BYU in the first round. No, with the Storm and Mormons headed to the second weekend. So, all right, we've talked about the regular season. We've talked about who's out of the tournament. Now it's finally time to talk about who's in the tournament. The Final Four, both men's and women's, this weekend. We will start with the ladies down there in Tampa Bay. Who do you guys think is cutting down the nets?
I'm riding high on the UConn women's Husky, a beautiful 35-3 record this season. The only 3 losses all against top 20 programs. just a wonderful team. You can talk so much about Paige Beckers and how wonderful she's been, but my pick for amazing player to watch is Sarah Strong, this year being nominated as the WBCA National Freshman of the Year. Such a deep program with Caitlin Chen, Ozzie Fudd, and KK Arnold. I truly believe UConn's going to be able to cut down the nets this year.
I'm going to have to go with South Carolina. They are battle-tested and proven. Their starting five, all of them have been to the Final Four twice, including winning a national championship. And on top of that, you have one of the best coaches ever, Dawn Staley. And I'm going to call them the platoon. They have a rotation of 10 players, 7 of which have led the team in scoring. They have individuals who know how to step up in the brightest moments.
All right, so now let's turn our attention to big old San Antonio. The men's Final Four, all chalk, all 1 seeds. I think Kelvin Sampson and Houston finally get it done. Defense wins championships. What do you guys think?
I'm going to have to go against you and say 2 words, Cooper Flag. Duke is really going to be the team to beat in this Final Four, and I truly believe they're going to go the distance with such a deep roster, as well as playing great basketball on both ends of the court.
I'm going to have to go with those boys from Gainesville. Give me the Gators with the chomp, baby. So well-rounded. They've proven that they can win games at big blowouts, and then when they're down a bunch, going down the stretch, they're able to come back and find a way to win. I think the Gators just have what it takes to be able to win the national championship, especially after getting through a gauntlet of an SEC to get there.
Going to be exciting to see. It all comes down to Monday night. Well, thank you, Dallas and Jason, for that discussion. Now, here to bring you your MLB update, it's Will Schoenleber.
What's going on, Sports Beat fans? I'm Will Schoenleber. The MLB season is young and hopes are high around the league, so let's get started. Starting in the Bronx with the Yankees, who have gotten off to a scorching hot start, hitting a record 9 home runs in 1 game and tying the 2006 Detroit Tigers for the most long balls in their first 3 games with 15. However, there has been some controversy as the Bronx Bombers have introduced new torpedo bats that critics say give them an unfair advantage at the plate. In Queens, the Mets have gotten off to a slower start, dropping their first series to the Houston Astros. However, Juan Soto has already made himself at home in his new threads, launching the Amazons' first homer of the year. With a long season still ahead, the Mets hope to capture lightning in a bottle once again, this time led by their new superstar acquisition. Moving to the West Coast, the defending World Series champion Dodgers are picking up right where they left off. Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, and Mookie Betts once again lead the way on offense, as the Blue Crew have already picked up series wins against the Chicago Cubs and the Detroit Tigers. With rotation additions of Blake Snell and Japanese sensation Roki Sasaki, only time will tell if the Dodgers' success will continue. In Texas, the Rangers look to bounce back from an injury-riddled 2024. The lineup, it's projected to be one of the best in baseball, and it features the deadly duo of Corey Seager and Marcus Semien, along with the return of 2-time Cy Young winner Jacob deGrom. After missing the playoffs last year, the Rangers are looking to return to their winning ways and repeat their 2023 success as World Series champions. We still have a full year of baseball ahead of us, but it's never too early to speculate what the rest of the season has in store. With your MLB update, I'm Will Schoenleber.
Welcome back, Sports Beat fans. I'm Amelia Bashy, and joining me now is captain of the women's lacrosse team, Christine Dannenfelser. Let's take a look at some of her highlights so far. Thank you so much, Christine, for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
So you had a stand-up performance at William & Mary. You scored your first collegiate goal and you picked up 6 ground balls. Can you walk us through how you reached those milestones?
Yeah, I think a big part of like training for games like that is on the practice field, and my teammates really do a great job of pushing me every day. We try to make practice super game-like, and that definitely translates to success on the field.
You are a 2-time CAA Defensive Player of the Week, and you are also named preseason All-CAA team. Were there any specific moments in the off-season or even today where you have grown as a player?
Yeah, I think our off season, obviously we have all summer being a spring sport. We have a lot of time on our own where we're responsible for putting work in by ourselves, and it's all about what you do when nobody's watching. So I think I grew a lot over summer, just staying consistent and working hard every day. And then coming in this year as a captain, it's been a great time so far being a captain of the team, and I think that also gives me motivation to show up every day and work really hard.
In your first year as captain, what's something you've learned that you've implemented into your leadership role?
Yeah, I think I've learned how to just like push myself every day and show up for my teammates. Obviously some days you're going to be tired and it's going to be like more challenging, but showing up every day and working really hard, and because you have to do that as a leader to have your teammates feed off your energy. So I think just pushing myself again really hard has helped me.
And with 5 games left in the regular season, you're slated to face all CAA teams. How are you preparing to play teams such as Drexel and Stony Brook?
Yeah, we have a really competitive conference with a lot of great teams, so we've been really focused at practice on being like really disciplined and really trying to minimize the mistakes that we make and holding each other accountable if we do make a mistake. And I think that again will translate into our last 5 games and we'll find success there.
You mentioned off camera that one of your favorite moments so far, going back to your first collegiate goal where all your teammates surrounded you once you scored. Is there a moment so far this season that you're extremely proud of?
That was a great moment for sure, and I think another of my favorite moments was beating Fairfield this year. It was a really great game where we had multiple different goal scorers and everybody played really well just all across the board, and we had a really close game with them last year but we fell short, so to beat them this year, another great team, and beating Fairfield was really great, and that was probably like another highlight for sure.
And since you're from Long Island, how's it been playing locally here?
Yeah, I love being at school so close to home. I'm like 45 minutes away from Bayport, so having my mom at every game is amazing. She's my rock, so to look up in the stands and see her, she's a big motivation. So playing locally has been really great. And then my little nephew just started playing lacrosse, so having him around and seeing him in the stands watch me play lacrosse, it's a really big motivator.
Do you think he's picked up like some of like your moves? Is he a defensive player as well? Or?
Yeah, I think he's gonna be. He really likes checking the ball out of people's stick, and he likes to watch me, so he tells me all the time he has a lot of fun just being around Hofstra and the atmosphere at our games, so he likes it a lot.
Is there a lacrosse player or just any athlete where you have looked up to be like in the leadership role that you're today, and then like where you believe have gotten to like this moment, like some of your tips?
Yeah, of course. So 2 captains last year that graduated on the defensive end, Trinity Reed and Ashlyn McDonald, they were really big role models for me, who just always tried 110% and pushed themselves to the best of their abilities, and they've had great success, and I just want to do the same and do what they did for my team.
And like, what's like your like pregame like ritual? Do you have a pregame ritual or like postgame or like day before? What's something that you do to get ready for the upcoming game?
Yeah, so just I try to get like good sleep the night before, obviously, and then wake up, eat a good breakfast, do a little bit of wall ball, practice a little bit, and then me and my team, we literally just dance in the locker room for like 30-40 minutes before we go outside. So that's like really fun and gets us all excited and locked in.
What's like the pregame like song that you guys like to listen to a lot?
Oh my gosh, there's like so many. I can't even pick one, honestly. Like there's literally so many.
Thank you so much, Christine, for joining us on the show today. Sports Beat will be right back after these messages.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Welcome back to Sports Beat, folks. I am once again joined by Dallas Jackson and Jason Weick as we break down what is roaring and boring within the world of Hofstra sports. All right, thank you again, Dallas and Jason. So we begin on the diamond here. The softball team has played a gauntlet of a non-conference schedule. Baylor, Oklahoma, so many tough opponents, and now they're starting to get into the meat and potatoes of that CAA schedule. Obviously, this was a team that snuck into the playoffs at that number 6 seed last year. So is this a case now where iron sharpens iron and they use those tough outings early in the season to better that sixth place finish?
Dylan, I'm going to have to go with Roar. I truly believe adversity will make you that much stronger, especially when they get deeper into CAA play. They're going to be able to reflect on how tough their out-of-conference opponents were and lock in terms of CAA play.
Oh, I'm going to have to yawn there with a Boar. I just think that they've kind of run themselves down a little bit too much. They played so many hard teams, and year after year we see this where, yes, they played great programs, but they're just tired and beat up. And also, I just don't know if they have an ace right now, and they need something to get them over that hump, and I just don't think it's possible this season.
All right, now you guys know we can't go too long without talking about Hofstra hoops when I'm here. So the men's basketball team gets a big announcement this week. Cruz Davis has announced his return. The Pride get their leading scorer back. That is not a luxury they had coming into this season. So does this continuity mean something for them, and does it get them back into the top 4 in the CAA?
I'm going to go with a big old Roar. Speedy Claxton thrives with consistency in his program. We've had multiple years of Aaron Estrada, multiple years of Tyler Thomas, and we're going to get multiple years of Cruz Davis, so I'm giving it a big old Roar.
I'm going to have to give it a Roar as well. As long as Coach Claxton is coaching those boys, they are going to be able to win. And look, who knows, maybe there could be a late addition to the team, but they're at least bona fide, and they have another year where they can work with their number 1 guy.
Well, thank you again, Dallas and Jason. Staying here with the Hofstra Pride, it's time to throw it to our Pride Weekly Update with Olivia Hillstead.
Hello, Sports Beat fans. I'm Olivia Hillstead. The Pride have a long weekend of action ahead, so let's get right into it. Starting in Hempstead, the baseball team matches up against the formidable UNCW Seahawks this weekend. Hofstra's offense has been red hot to start the season, averaging 7 runs per game. However, UNCW will be eager to get back in the win column after their recent series loss to North Carolina A&T. The first game of the series is set for 2 p.m. on Friday, 1 on Saturday, and at noon on Sunday. Heading to the road, the softball team heads to Philly for a CAA series of their own versus the Drexel Dragons. After a slow start to the season, the Pride have won 3 straight series, and no one has stepped up more for the Pride than pitcher Emma Fallon, who is posting a 3.9 ERA so far this season. The Dragons have struggled all season as they are currently 2-10 in conference play. Game times are set for 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. on Friday and noon on Sunday. Heading north, the men's lacrosse team will have their work cut out for them as they travel to Connecticut to face the 20th ranked team in the nation, the Fairfield University Stags. Hofstra leads the CAA with a 7-2 record and are undefeated through 3 games in conference play. We'll be facing a Fairfield squad that has only lost 1 game so far. Match time is set for Saturday at noon. Back on the island, Stewart Stadium will be home to some exciting lacrosse action as the women's team welcomes the Campbell Fighting Camels. The ladies are looking to get back in the win column after suffering back-to-back losses. Leading the way for the Pride is none other than Nikki Manella, who currently leads the team with 39 goals, 27 assists, and 66 points. Match time is set for noon on Saturday. For more information on schedules, live streams, and more, visit GoHofstra.com. Now it's time for your Pride Top 5.
Now, folks, everybody knows that I don't sleep during Sports Beat season, and that is for one reason and one reason only, the prospect of a brand new Pride Top 5. So now it's time to see the best of the best in Hofstra sports. Let's jump right in. Number 5, Hofstra Monmouth. In the world of baseball, how about the youngster Sean Lane going straight away center field? Big go-ahead home run in extra innings. Hofstra goes on to win this series 2-1, and the big bat of Sean Lane, a big reason why. Let's watch it again here. Playing this game down at the Jersey Shore in West Long Branch against Monmouth. He sent that one about 10 exits up the parkway. Puts him up 11-10, and look at the pimp job on that one as well, tossing it towards the dugout. Let's go women's lacrosse. This team has been hot lately, and Julia West goes behind the back for the goal against Elon, getting mobbed by her teammates there, and rightfully so. Let me tell you, this women's lacrosse team has got some slippery players, and the next clip is going to show you just why as well. Big goal for Julia West there. Slippery with the sweet feet through the defense. Now let's jump into number 3. Same team here, Hofstra women's lacrosse. Nikki Manella, the star of the show. This is a girl that's getting national recognition lately, and you can see just why. Spins through the defense, slides her feet into the lane, and you can see she's fired up, and rightfully so. That may be the goal of the season. Let's watch it one more time. So nice, I had to see it twice. Jump, slide. This team has got several players, folks, that I could see on Dancing with the Stars in the very near future with some of this sweet footwork on offense. Number 2 now, we go Hofstra men's lacrosse in the Battle of Long Island. It's the 5-1-6 versus the 6-3-1. And number 66, John Madsen, with the overtime winner, slides it across his chest. I mean, you can't paint a better atmosphere than this. Pouring rain, rivalry game winner, gets the beautiful feed in front of the net, and cool, calm, and collected as he slots that one home to top Stony Brook. Now let's go number one, the best of the best in Hofstra sports, and it is Chelsea Villar. Full extension out there in center field for a game-saving grab at the wall against Delaware. This game was tied 3-3 heading into the 7th. This one kept a whole lot of runs off the board. Let's watch it one more time as she sprawls out near that right field wall. Hofstra takes this one 5-4 in 12 winnings, largely due to that absolute web gem from Chelsea Villar. Well, folks, there you have it. Another edition of the Pride Top 5 in the books. Sports Beat will be back following this.
Each year, there are more than a dozen significant tropical and winter storms that threaten the East Coast. So chances are there will be more hurricanes and blizzards near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Welcome back to Sports Beat, folks. Our very own Giuseppe Oliveri recently challenged the Hofstra men's soccer team to, get this, a shooting contest. Let's see how he fared against the CAA's best.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Giuseppe Oliveri. I'm here with the Hofstra men's soccer team. Gonna hit some targets, get to know the players a little bit better, and we're gonna have one heck of a day. It's all coming up right now. All right, first up here with me is Lori Goddard. Lori, you transferred to Hofstra last year. You make it to the NCAA tournament. What was that journey like coming to Hofstra?
Oh, it was amazing. I came to Hofstra to play in those games, play in the tournament. So yeah, it was amazing to win the conference. And then obviously unfortunate about the game, but it was a great game to play in, yeah.
That was a great game. Yeah. Well, Lori, take it away, my friend. All right, next up here, Alexei Armis, another transfer from Adelphi. Alexei, if I'm not mistaken, your dad played a bit of professional soccer. What was that like growing up in the soccer household?
It was pretty sick. You know, I was born in Chicago. He was playing. So my first 4 years of life, it was just all his games and walking out on the field after the games. I don't really remember it, but I see pictures. It's pretty sick.
All right, well, you had a whole season of practice for the big moment. With me now, Hofstra defenseman Gabriel Pacheco. Gabriel, you're an anchor on this defense year in and year out with one of the hardest shots I think I've ever seen in soccer. Tell me, how does that happen with that foot?
Well, I've been playing since young age, so I think that you just develop it throughout the years.
All right, well, let's see that foot to the test. All right, shooting now is Syracuse transfer Danielle Burko. Danielle, what made you land on Hofstra University as your next school?
Well, it's a good school, good program, good coaching staff around them, successful, so it's a nice place to be.
All right, Hofstra fans, you haven't seen him in game yet, but here's your sneak preview. Oh! When you think about the foot and shots of soccer players, you never think about the keeper, but they may just have the strongest foot. And Gino Cervoni here to hopefully prove me right. Gino, you were part of the team last year on that magical 4th straight conference title run. What's that locker room like with all the guys?
It's just something you can't make up. It's just a good experience in and out, good relationships with the boys. It's just nothing like it compared to anything else.
All right, Gino, 2 targets already knocked out. Let's see if you get any more off the board. All right, final challenge. Very simple. We're just trying to beat Gino. So, Lori, you led the team in goals last year. We already mentioned that. Do you plan to one-up yourself this year?
I do, yeah, I do.
Simple as that. Let me get out of the way before I get my head taken off and let Lori shoot. Alexei, coming from Adelphi to Hofstra, not too far of traveling, but a whole new team can mean a whole new family.
Yeah.
What was the biggest takeaway from last year?
I think the biggest takeaway was how warmed I was welcomed into here. You know, I came in with Lori and a few other guys, and we genuinely created a brotherhood, and we're pretty close, and I love it here. You know, I love the coaches. It's great here.
Well, the Bondoff field generates the play on the field. They showed us last year. Let's see what they do right now. Oh. Gabriel, usually when you're shooting the ball, you're sending it downfield, trying to find an attacker. You have a chance to score right now. You take any notes from the guys who scored the goals all year?
Well, I'm always defending against them in training, so let's hope I learned something.
Well, we're about to find out. Gabriel up next. Danielle, no Hofstra fan has seen you shoot yet. Let's plan on giving him a little sneak preview.
Yes, let's go.
All right, let's see it. All right, my expert analysis, I don't think I'm beating Gino, but we could try. Oh, in close. Oh! Yeah. Come on! Yeah, have that, Gino. Show them the Ronaldo. Well, this has been getting to know the men's soccer team a little more. I hope that you got to learn a little more about the personalities of this historic team. For Sports Beat, I'm Giuseppe Oliveri.
Well, for the final time tonight, we welcome Dallas and Jason. It is time to crown our March Athlete of the Month. Guys, who you got?
I'm going to have to just say, Nikki Manella is my Athlete of the Month, and as we saw in the Pride Top 5, the proof is truly in the pudding. A phenomenal month of March for herself in 3 separate outings, eclipsing 6 goals, which is her career high. Just a wonderful career for herself, and eclipsing 100 career points in this month.
I'm going to have to go with the current CAA Offensive Player of the Week, Anthony Malika. 8 goals, 10 assists. Last game, he had 5 assists. That's the most in a game for a Hofstra men's lacrosse player since 2022. Not only can he score, but he can also dish around the ball. And you need players like that in a program that's 7-2 and currently sitting towards the top of that CAA.
Well, guys, as much as I'd love to give the award to Giuseppe for that performance, I am going to have to go with Anthony Malika because in the end, I care about one stat. That's wins and losses, and that men's lacrosse team on an absolute heater right now. Well, folks, that'll do it for the 3rd Sports Beat episode of the semester. But before we go, we have plenty of thanks to go around. Dallas Jackson and Jason Weick joined me to break down March Madness, give you what was roaring and boring, and crown our Athlete of the Month. Will Schoenleber took you through the world of Major League Baseball, and Olivia Hillstead did the same in Hofstra Athletics with the Pride Weekly Update. We thank Christine Dannenfelser of the women's lacrosse team for sitting down with Amelia Bashy, discussing the season so far, and the men's soccer team for that remarkable shooting contest with Giuseppe. And of course, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Sports Beat. My name is Dylan Brett, and always remember to roar with pride.